Welcome, Steve, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Messiah, this new album,
Me too.
Christus Hyper, Hypercubus, and obviously more things related to the metal world. So we started by asking, so how was the band been during the last 4 years? Because your comeback album, Fragment, released in 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, and now we have this new album, Christus Hypercubus.
So we had a bad start with the release date. So it was not possible to do a release show. It was September 2020, I think, I remember. So we had a hard time at that day to decide to not play the show. We had planned it a long time before. And now, in a few weeks, the 16th, we will have the release party for Christus Hypercubus. So hopefully that one will work and we can do that show. Yeah, later we played several shows with the band, festivals in Bulgaria, around Europe, Switzerland, Germany. And we were very lucky with the release Fragment. So then later, while the pandemic or close to the end of the pandemic, Andy, our singer, decided to left the band. So it was for us a very hard decision from him because we know he did it already in the 90s. So, but we were lucky and found very fast a replacement by Markus Seebach, an old friend of mine. And I think he fits very good into the band. That worked very well. We played a few shows. Almost a year later, after Andy's left, he passed away by a stroke. So it was a very hard time for the band, for his family. And yeah, it was a very sad part in the history of Messiah, because we were longtime friends, and this was a hard loss for the band, of course. So yeah, now we're here with the actual new album, and we're very excited. Tomorrow is release date, March 1st, and we have a very good response, and we're looking forward to hopefully good 2024.
Oh, that's great. That's great news. But yes, tomorrow will be March 1st is the release for this comeback, second comeback album. Now, as you
Yeah,
mentioned,
almost. Yeah.
Fragment, it was like the a worst times to release a comeback album because Fragment didn't has a good promotion to shows for the pandemic. This kind of stuff. Now you are releasing this Christus Hypercubus, and for this, how will you focus the next presentations of Messiah? Will you focus on both albums or just focus on this new album? Because you mentioned also Fragment didn't has a good promotion at that time.
So we will focus on the actual new album, of course. So because it's 4 years ago now of the release of Fragment, and we still will keep several songs into the set list, but yeah, we're hot to play the new songs because they're also already 1 year old. So we wanted to play them live, and we in the middle of the rehearsing for the release party, and it works very well to play them live also. So it's not the same when you record something and when you play it live. But we have very good results with the live performance for the new songs. So we're looking very forward to play a lot of songs now in at the release party, and then we have a back catalog of 7 albums, so we have to go back into the 80s, of course, because these 2 albums are very important for Messiah, and also the whole back catalog of the 90s will be presented, and Fragment, of course, with 2 or 3 songs and some more of the new album.
Okay, great. That's great news. And you mentioned one thing about the to please, perhaps to please the public, because when Messiah present live, always there are people that ask just to play the first 2 albums, the first 3 albums. But as you mentioned, you have 7 albums in your career. So how do you divide the set list for the future presentations? How do you well, how will you ensure that the fans enjoy your presentations when a fans didn't see perhaps the first era of the band, and now we are seeing now the new era because Fragment and this new Christus Hypercubus has different sound compared to the old ones.
So it's for us it's hard to decide, because but what we do usually we look where we play. So I would say, if we would, I hope so, we will play once in South America. We never played there, so for us it's logical that we have to play more of the old songs, maybe. So that's my personal meaning, because the people never saw Messiah live before. If we play in Germany, where we played in all decades of the history, we will focus also more on the new stuff and the 90s stuff. There are also 2 different fan groups.
Yeah.
So we have the old school guys. They only worship the first 2 albums. But we have also a lot of fans. They like the albums of the 90s, Choir of Horrors, Rotten Parish. So I think these 2 eras were very important for us, and they're kind of different fans we have. So, but yeah, we don't care so much. Now we wanna looking forward. It's time to looking forward, and we never forget the old times, and we will ever play like Motorhead played always the same old school song like Ace of Spades. We will play Extreme Cold Weather or Hymn to Our Melon Messiah. This is booked in all live sets for forever, I'm sure. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the next question is a common one in all interviews, because Fragment was your comeback after 20 years or more than 20 years,
Correct, yeah.
24 years in. So what do you decide to come back in this era and no before when you released the last album, Underground?
Oh, they were after Underground. It was we split it up 1994 in not that really good mood. Bruggy, the guitarist, and me, we had completely different meanings of playing music. He wanted to do just recordings, and I wanted to play live shows. So, and also the bass player we had on this time. So we had completely different meanings, and this went to a split finally. Also, the contact was stopped for many years, and you have to know that we found together in 2003. Maybe you heard about that. We played 2 shows only, a big festival in Germany and a small club show in Zurich, and we named it Reanimation. So it's also a live album available and a video, a DVD from these 2 shows. So first time we get in contact was the marriage of Bergie, 2002, and we had the crazy idea to bring both lineups together, the old 80s lineup and the 90s lineup, but it finally didn't work with the 80s lineup. It was the idea to play shows with 2 different lineups. This was the first plan we had. This wouldn't work because the bass player singer Jesse he stopped that idea very fast, and so we gone forward with the 90s lineup to play these 2 shows. After that, we stopped again because Andy was at that time he lived first he lived in Mexico and a bit later in Spain, so it wasn't possible to keep the band on rolling like with this whole with this far directions of the band members. So, and 2017, a good old friend of mine, he asked me for his small festival to take the band together to play a special small short show for 2 or 3 songs. I was laughing because I said it would be possible to come together for 2 or 3 songs because it's a long time ago, 2003 until 2017. We went together then at Bergie's house for a barbecue and had a good feeling. All were happy to see each other, and we decided to do this. But we said we want to do a secret show for about 45 or 50 minutes, just to find out also if it would be possible to do a reunion. And we played 2 shows like this at that time, 2017, and it felt so good. So we decided in the beginning of 2018 to come together to do a new album, to do live shows, and here we are. This was the long and complicated story. So now, since the start of the third part of the third decade of Messiah is the longest decade we are together now, but also with some changements with the singer again, and we have also a new guitarist, the second guitarist, VO known from Poltergeist. He's a good old friend of ours, and I play also with him in another band called Gerd. So we have, this is an old family. We're getting older and wiser, and it feels very good to play with these guys.
Okay. All the detail about this return for Messiah is the sound, because I try to compare this fragment and this crystal hypercubus. Obviously, when you previous word, that's normally because you have an old career. And these both new albums bring new sound, bring some more group stuff, well, like modern sound to this era. So who came with the idea to return with a new sound in Messiah sound? Because I tried to compare the extreme cold winter, well, hymns of Bremelin, and it's not like the same. Fragment and Christus Hypercubus has a more like a death metal, a Messiah in 2020 and 2024.
So first, you don't have to forget the albums in the 90s. So
Yes,
also completely different to the
Yeah.
first two albums. So I think I'm correct. I think Fragment was made by the old guys of the 90s, so it's the same lineup as we ended up with Rotten Parish. Same bass player, same singer, same guitarist, same drummer. So we came together and we growing up. We had some projects, other bands, and I think this was the influence for Fragment. So uh, our age, more influences, more knowledge uh, that created the Fragment sound. We did it. Uh, I liked it very much. We did all songwriting stuff or final songwriting we did in the rehearsal room. So the ideas comes all from Bergie, from the guitarist, and then we put all together and we worked it out in the rehearsal room. The difference to Christus Hypercubus is huge because we have influences like VO, the second guitarist. He's also a very good songwriter, and he wrote about 4 or 5 songs. I'm not sure. I think 4 songs, 5 songs. Yeah. So almost the half of the songs are written by VO, the music. And we have a new singer. So I think this was the main reason that we sound like we do 2024. So I think we sound more modern, sometimes a little bit more structured as in the early years.
Okay, okay. Well, for you, what is the biggest difference that exists compared in this album? Come on, compare this album to the previous one, to the Fragment.
The speed.
The speed, yeah.
So we increased the speed. Um, this happened, but Fragment was when I look back, I love this album. I'm very proud about this comeback album, but it was yeah, it's what was made by some guys in our age, in our 50s, and so we enjoyed to get back to be back in the scene, and then we found out we're not too old to play fast. So that was, I think it was that was the input to write some faster songs like we have it now on the new album.
Okay, okay. Well, a curious thing. Oh, I remember when. Well, I remember when I hear you first, the first one, the second album from Messiah at the end of the '80s. I remember Extreme Cold Weather because that's the first album that I hear from you
Yeah.
here in South America, especially. I remember here, and usually when I spoke with a friends at that time about the Extreme Cold Winter, and we saw the name Messiah. That's a Christian name. Then we saw your logo with a cross, and now during the years and this new Christus, it's all a lot of things are related with the Christian religion. So in general, so what to try to say to the people with the cover bueno, with the name of this new album Christus, with the name of the band Messiah and the cross in the E. But because a curious thing, because when I read your lyrics didn't talk about, or your lyrics don't talk about the Christianity. You are anti-Christian. You are an anti-Christian, but that's a curious thing that you has well, like the I don't know, a counterproductive thing when you try to relate the name, this kind of stuff.
So I think we're not antichrists. It's the wrong word. So I think it was always our decision to look at the church mainly, at the Catholic Church, which is the most extreme church by the Christians, and so we had so many themes. We found so many themes to write lyrics out of the uh, Christian history. So there's so many history. You have the possibility to write a lot of lyrics, and it's fascinating to criticize some um, things the Christians did to the people, and we always followed to this red, how do you say, yeah, this is our red line, and the funny thing is, it's always you can break out a little bit and do some fantasy stuff into the stuff what happened really in the history. So that's also Bergie is he's a crazy in his mind. It's very hard to follow him when he writes the lyrics, because he's really the guy who writes almost all of the lyrics, also on Christus Hypercubus. And I'm still not really sure if I understand everything what he wrote. So he mixes the historic stuff with some fantasy stuff, and combines this to crazy stories. So, but yeah, the church is our main point. We pointing on it. So that's true. But we never were like Antichrist or stuff. We did two tours with Deicide, with Glenn Benton, and always the first and the second tour we started, he was asking us, "Are you Christians?" I was really laughing the second time, because maybe he forgot that he was on tour already a few years ago. But yeah, so we are not Christians, but we also not Antichrists. We're I would say we're atheists, and pointing on the history of Christianity.
Okay. Understand. So, talking about the promotion of this Christus Hypercubus, what kind of promotion do you have for this new album? Perhaps you will embark. You mentioned a little gigs there in Switzerland. Also, you will also a little tours in Europe. But perhaps you will come to perhaps US, Asia, or have another plans for this new album.
So we're a little bit, how did I say, we were a little bit banned, because when we decided to come back with the band 2018, we had to talk how in which structure we want to do the band. So we have people in the band, they have family, they are self-employees, so they can't go on tour for more than maybe 1 week. It's not possible. So they have to stay at home. And we did this decision. Sometimes it's hard, because we had also some offers to tour for a longer time with very cool bands. So we focus on some cool festivals, or some small weekend tourings, and we are happy with that. I think there's one thing we talked about, but we didn't get in charge with this promoter a year ago. He asked us for a South America tour for about 10 dates. Uh, we would be very happy to do something like this, but it should be not every year 2 months touring or more. It's not possible for us. So we concentrate on some special festivals. We will play Wacken in Germany this year. So we were very happy to be a part of this huge festival. And we take what we get and what we can do. So
Okay, interesting things. Well, talking about a little more about as you can see, there is a little trend in the world, especially in the metal scene, that the old bands are re-record or re-record the old stuff. So if someone level propose, or perhaps perhaps a well-known label propose you to re-record Hymn of Aberlin or Extreme Cold Winter, are you agree to re-record this, or perhaps these both albums are a matter of time, or so?
oh, this is a this is a good one. So you have the meanings go on completely two sides. You know, we did with the comeback album, we did an EP before, and on this EP we had we did two songs. We re-recorded Extreme Cold Weather, and we re-recorded Space Invaders with some guest singers. We had Griggle from Elevati, good old friend. He joined us for Extreme Cold Weather, and Sven from the German band Flash Crawl. He passed away also by cancer a few years ago. He sang the song Space Invaders. So this was a special thing. And just two songs, you know, and the response was so different. Some people said, no, it's never do a re-recording. This is cult, and you don't have to touch the old albums. And I think I agree with this. So it's too long ago, and the 80s, they were really special at that time. Every band who came out, if it was Celtic Frost or it was Venom or what else, it sounds a little bit crappy if you look at now, if you listen from our time now. So, but it has a special touch and a special feeling, and I think we shouldn't touch that. So we keep it like it happened, and so we have still really good response for these two albums. So I think it's okay like it is. So
Okay.
anyway, when we play these songs live, they come over a little bit more structured, like it's they are on the recordings. So
Okay. Okay. Well, talking about other kind of stuff, and this is one of the last questions for this interview. As you can see now, the metal world or the music in general is well more accepted compared to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. As you can see, at that time in those on those eras, in those decades, the metal fight against something, against society, against to the Christians, against to I don't know, against to a lot of things. But now, since the social media start with new generation, the metal well more accepted. Now more people are listening metal. There's no something impact to the new generation because as you can see the corpse paint. You can paint the corpse paint with like tutorials in YouTube, this kind of stuff. It's more easily to understand the metal now because a lot of trends. So with this aspect, a lot of things think a lot of the person thinks that the metal in some ways lose the essence that to fight against something because now, as I mentioned, it's more accepted. So for you, what do you think about now the metal is well more accepted and now the essence to fight against something is not anymore in the metal, in the lyrics, in the metal way to understand this music?
Ooh, this is a good question. I understand very well, but I think the difference if, in the early years we don't have the the visuals that much. So I think we had in the 80s, in the 90s, we had to describe our music in lyrics and in pictures on the album. So that was it. So and I think the focus was more on the lyrics at that time, and this is my personal meaning. And in the actual time, the focus is more on pictures. So you have all the social media, and every band is posting some stuff, some videos, and hey guys, with the corpse paint and stuff. It's it's like 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 a circus, you know. uh, and it works. So as you said, the scene is growing. It's easier to catch the people, to catch more people with all these streaming platforms. It's also more easier, but uh, I think the soul, it's dangerous to losing the soul of the genre or of the each band's um, meaning, their their how what they are doing for. So this is not that interesting as it was in the 90s or in the 80s. But that's what I think. So it's good for us where we're enjoying when we're going out and play live. We meet a lot of young crazy fans, but it's I think they think completely different, like Lou, you and I are thinking if they going we're going to a concert in the early years. So this was like, oh, worshipping. Wow, now we have Slayer or something like that. Like this was, and you only heard it on the album, and then you went to the venue and saw the band, and this was all information you could get at that time. And now you can watch YouTube and yeah. So I think it's a big difference. Okay, in the 90s we had some MTV with the videos, and it was yeah, it was I think it's a growing thing. It's not bad, but I when I look back, it was more intense to be a metal fan. It
Mm,
was yeah, yeah.
mm,
I would
okay.
say that's it.
Okay, okay. Thanks for this answer. Well, Steve, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoy this one like me. I love this new album. It's a great one, a great continuation for the fragment. As I mentioned, for
Thank you
me, it's
very
very
much.
different, very different from your albums from the 80s and 90s. It's a new era from Messiah. That's a good thing
Oh,
because mostly all bands try to represent or try to play as they did in the 80s and 90s. And when you hear a new band, a band with a new sound, with a new albums, that's a good to hear for us, for the fans especially. So for this, congratulations on this new album. So
thank you very
perhaps
much.
perhaps do want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallica followers.
So first, I want to say thank you for your interesting at the band Messiah over all the years, uh, over all the decades we did with the band. We're very happy to release the new album. We have a very good response also. As you said, it's different, but I think it fits in this time right now, and we're very happy to play live and I hope and we hope to see some crazy people from Latin America in front of our stage. It would be for us a great dream, and I hope you enjoying our album, and I hope we see us in the next years over there. Thank you very much.